I will invite Gaurav Kapoor to take over and ahead this session. Over to you, Gaurav. Thanks.
Okay, thank you everyone, and welcome once again, ma'am. It's indeed a pleasure to have this conversation with educators like you who have contributed so much to the education industry, who are, who have so much experience that, they are books in it, themselves. And I'm so glad to be a part of this discussion. So I think with your experience, ma'am, I think we will also have a lot of insights on what are the policy makers doing, how are we going to implement this. So my first question is, today it's the time for embedded learning. We are calling it as embedded learning, or you call it as online learning, or you call it as, you call it by different names. But what do you think are the key challenges that teachers and students are facing at this time, when it comes to online learning?
See, due to this pandemic, online teaching has become new normal, and we are now habituated because we have completed almost 1.5 years with this mode of learning. And it was a day when suddenly from physical, we shifted towards online learning. At that time, it was very difficult for all the education community and fraternity to go with this, and slowly and gradually, as I think we all human beings are very flexible, and adaptability is our forte. So we did it, and we are going with it, but it has affected the students a lot. They got suddenly locked up in the room, and the school closure, and they are not able to meet up with their friends, and the enjoyment and all the things, the liveliness of the school is missing from their life. At this time, it is very difficult for them to be with their parents all the time in front of the screen. First, the school learning is taking on, then their coaching classes are going on. So all the time screen, and after this, learning is going on through online, and their entertainment source is also online, because they are very much addicted to social media. And you can see all, even I will not talk about only the younger generation, even the older generation you will find with mobile. And it is very disheartening and disappointing to see that suppose 8 family members are sitting together, you can see a scene of 8 of them busy with their mobile. So though we all are sitting together, but what is the scene? We are not communicating, we are not talking, no connection is there, whether it is family members or outsider, anywhere you will find. Whether you are traveling somewhere, you can see the same scene. You are sitting somewhere, you can see the same scene. So this addiction of mobile or internet or social media has given a platform for, I should say, depression, stress. First, we used to laugh together. We used to sit and chat together. So there was no chance of being lonely. Now we are living with device and internet locked up in a room. So how can we balance this? You're talking about social and emotional. So how can we have a balance of it? Because everybody feels that they are alone. Actually, this is their personal choice, I should say. So the students are also not opening up, and unless and until you open up, you share your problem with your elders, your friends, your relatives, your educators. Unless and until you go for that, there will be no solution. Once you talk to, so communication is very important, sharing is very important, and if you share your problem, you can overcome your problem. But that is absolutely missing during this pandemic and during this separation from each other. We have to maintain physical distance. Okay, it is fine. But that does not mean that you spend 75% of your life in your device and the internet. So that is missing, and due to this online, before online also the scene was this, that every youngsters are into Instagram, or you say Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, or everywhere they are, but they are not feeling comfortable with their relatives, with their mentors, with their coach. So this is the biggest problem, I think.
Absolutely, ma'am, and I think you've hit on the nail. SEL is a buzzword today. You know, we are all listening about social and emotional learning. How do you suggest we should train our teachers, ma'am? Because I think if you have to bring it down to our students, it's very important to have this embedded into our curriculum, into the programs that we are doing on a day-to-day life, because this cannot be held in isolation. It has to be embedded with the curriculums and the programs that the schools are running. How do you suggest we should plan it for our teachers?
See, first of all, I should say that many of us do not know what social emotional learning is. So number one, awareness is very, very important. And unless and until there is awareness that this kind of learning is important, this kind of learning should be integrated with curriculum. And I as an educator, I can say that social emotional learning is a part of curriculum, though it is not segregated or it is not separated, it is involved in. It is involved in. So first we need to talk about this. Second, the teachers need to be trained about this. Unless and until the teachers are trained about this learning, it will be very difficult for the teachers to handle. But thanks to NEP that with this new education policy 2020, we have to make social emotional learning a part of the curriculum, and this will definitely take the students to achieve, it will help the students to achieve their goals. And their academics will grow with this. Unless and until the child is experiencing an environment, healthy environment, where he is free to express, where he is free to ask why questions or what and how, unless and until that is there, and unless and until we are able to have a connection with the child. It is well said that education is not only the training of mind, education is the training of heart. And as your tagline, I can see the teach the heart. I also believe the teach the heart. Otherwise, what is the difference between a human being and a machine? Unless until you have emotions and feelings, you cannot be a human. If you cannot be a human, how can you contribute to be a better citizen, and how can you work for the school, for your society, for your state, and at a large nation?
And so there are so many beautiful examples, ma'am, that you know we hear from the classrooms every day. Like the example that I shared with you just before the meeting, and Lata said we were doing a training in a school, and it was a very simple worksheet. We said, okay, here is a heart. You have to color it the way you like, the color of your own choice. Everybody started thinking, started coloring it red and pink and blue. And there's one silent child who's sitting in one corner, she painted the heart black. And instantly our trainers just asked them, why did you paint the heart black? She said, because I feel lonely. I feel that I'm not required. Immediately that called for a counseling session, and our trainer started counseling with them. You've said so beautifully that, if you can't create a learning environment for the child or emotionally safe environment for the child, it's very difficult to even work on the cognitive domains.
It is very touchy to listen that the child painted black.
Yeah.
See, it's very important for the teacher, for the parents to understand the child and how ignored the child might be, who painted the heart black and said that he's all alone. Therefore, the suicide cases are more. Out of every 4 child, 1 child you will find in depression and stress and anxiety. But how we will come to know that the child is in depression? The parents are so busy that during this online session or class, I should say, the children are deceiving their parents by not attending the online classes. They are with the device, they are having the Wi-Fi, but they pretend to attend online classes. we need to understand as an educator, class teacher, or parents that why the child is not attending the class. Nobody is having that time to see and have a track on the learning development of the child, or they are not updated, they are not attending the PTA. So every child is unique, and it is the sole responsibility of both the community, parents community and the school community, to take care of the child, to help him to bloom to the fullest, to provide him the potential, the platform to exhibit his potential, to hold his hand and to take him to the, to help him to reach his goal. So we are the one who will make them understand what is coordination, what is love, what is empathy. Unless and until they understand the meaning of empathy, it will be very difficult for the students to face the challenges of the life and to survive in this global market. So when we say that we have to prepare our students for 21st century, and we need to, as an educator, we need to take the complete development, overall development of the child, or the holistic development of the child, that is only feasible when we provide them that environment when they do not feel dejected, they do not feel lonely, they are not suppressed, and they are given the chance to speak.
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. And when children don't ask questions, they don't make mistakes. I think the biggest skill today we have to tell our children is to accept failure and learn from it. You know, we as adults also, if you ask, I happen to ask to so many teachers, can you talk about your failures? And most often it's a matter of shame, rather than saying, I tried. Even as adults, we shy away to talk to others about our failures, rather than saying, hey, I have tried, look how beautifully I have tried. Ma'am, I think it's a beautiful thread that we have created. Another question that's coming to my mind is, you are managing such a large organization, and I'm sure it must be overwhelming sometimes for you to handle so many different people, so many different situations. So how do you take care of your emotions, or how do you manage your emotions? Would you like to share with us?
See, if I talk about myself, first of all, we were talking about managing the failure. I should say, those who have reached to the highest level, they feel proud to share about their failures, whether it is Shah Rukh Khan or anyone else, or Amitabh Bachchan. When they reach to that level, where they can talk about, their failures become the story and inspirational story for all others. So they very proudly talk about failure. But the mediocre, if you talk about the teachers, or I'm not specifically telling that the teachers are the mediocre, those who have not tasted and those who have not reached to that level where they can freely talk about failure, yes, it is a matter of shame. But those who have reached to the top level, they will make the stories of their failure, and that is sold as the best seller. So it is not that, number one. Number two, if you talk about my emotion, yes, I'm very sensitive and emotional, but I'm very balanced because I feel a great connection with the Almighty. So that keeps me very calm, cool, and I'm very optimistic by nature. So I always see that the glass is half full. I never see that the glass is half empty. So I find recently I was going to meet with an accident, and I took that also as, I found something positive in that. So how you look at the things, what are your thought process, that matters a lot. Connection with Almighty keeps me always in a balanced state of mind. So I'm not impulsive. I'm not taking any hasty decision. I am able to manage my anger. I am able to manage my emotions, because I believe in yoga and meditation a lot. Before coming to my office every day, I listen to one positive note, whether it is through book or through video or audio. but yes, that is part of my routine every day. So that helps me to go with positive attitude, and it becomes as comfortable as fish in water. I'm that comfortable with my parents, with my students, with parents community, with my staff, with my children, with my management. So I provide a very healthy environment to for all of them to work here. They come with I made it very mandatory for all of them to enter the school building with a smile. So wearing a smile is a part of, so that keeps me going.
So many beautiful exercises you have said, ma'am. I think the one that got my attention was the mindset. The mindset in which you start looking at the things. Beautiful. Thank you. Another question, ma'am, which is very prominent, and everybody I'm sure would like to ask you. We have policies, we have structures, we have issues related to mental health, and so many other things. Then where do you think our educators today are not accepting, or where do you think the logging is in terms of accepting SEL? Initially you said it's so important that everybody must practice it, everybody must do it in their school, and especially with the children, because these are the younger minds and they can develop, and I think it's completely a matter of skill.
Yes, it's a part of soft skill, I should say.
Yes.
It's a part of curriculum, number one, and every parent is looking at what their child will become in future. So everybody is having the same question, and they want to reach, everybody is having a goal and they want to reach that goal. To reach that goal, it is very important for every school in the world to take care of the emotions of the child. So social behavior and their emotional behavior contributes to what they will become tomorrow. It contributes a lot. Without emotion, how a teacher motivates a child? Like Arjun was motivated by Dronacharya. So unless and until that motivation is there and the inspiration is there, now teachers have taken back foot. Now they are known as the mentors, because all the information is a click away. So and in this era, it is very important for the teachers to understand the child completely. Unless and until you understand the child, what is going through. Many students are coming from broken families. So one part is there. Somewhere domestic violence is going on, and the child is not able to manage that, seeing the mother beaten. So these are all the reasons, and the father is addicted to liquor. So all this environment takes the child into depression. And it is the part of this school to have this social and emotional learning in the school is going on. We take our students to say, I don't like to mention orphanage, but if we take them there, if we have, a program where the students are going and distributing their old clothes. So all this during this at the age of say 6 or 7, and when they are in class 3 or 4 onwards, we should start all these things so that the child learns that he is not living his life is not for himself only. His life is, he has to work for the society. He has to think for the community. He has to think for the state. He has to have a emotion for the nation. So from the very beginning, the child should be molded in such a way that when they grow up with all the emotions of love, care, kindness, generosity, empathy, cooperation, teamwork, coordination, to accept the change, to embrace the failure, to appreciate the ideas of others. So this social and emotional learning helps them to inculcate and instill all these qualities in a child. Then only we can say that we are having a holistic development for the child. Unless and until we give them the training and the teachers are trained in such a way that they are able to manage the conflict between the students. Unless and until they get the training for the social and emotional learning, the school will not grow, the students will not grow. So I think it is very integral part of our curriculum and education system.
My next question is to both of you. I'm going to ask one question to Lataji also. So if you have to say maybe 5 tips that you would like to give to all the school stakeholders, I'm not even saying the school principals or the owners, 5 tips, 4 or 5 tips, top of your mind that you would like to give to all the stakeholders who want to, who are willing to implement SEL. What would be those 4 to 5 tips, so that they can start thinking on this path, and as and when they plan, they can reach out to us, they can reach out to you for help, and we may help them to develop this program.
See, number one, they need to understand what social emotional learning is all about, the importance of this program or the importance of this curriculum, I should say. They should understand this. Once they understand that this is contributing in the development of the child, and we are the one who will be taking them to the to achieve their goals, then this is equally important. As it is said that education is educating the heart. So without how you are going to educate the heart? So through social and emotional learning only, we can educate the heart. So they need to understand what is the importance of this, and then to go ahead with the program, to adopt this program, and to have a training of the teachers for this program. So they can reach out to you or anyone else providing with this curriculum or providing this program. Listen, understand, adopt, and implement this program. And no wonder you will find a change very soon in your school environment.
So let's hear Lata also on this. What is her say about these 4 to 5 tips?
Okay, so ma'am has covered everything that I wanted to say, but yes, the awareness is very, very required. This program I'm seeing that is now very much part of like US, Canada, Australia, UK. These are the countries who have been working on this for a very long time, and in US for last 30 years they have been working on the development of social emotional learning. But now I'm seeing it is more like people are seeing it as a part of curriculum, and as I told you earlier also, around 350 schools are using our curriculum. They are using our activities every week to take it to the classroom. So yes, awareness is one thing, and we are trying our best to provide free workshop for teachers so that they at least understand what social emotional learning is. And the second thing I would say is this program is not just about social emotional learning or managing emotion. It is the prevention of mental health issues that we see in adults. So if from a very early age we start talking about emotions, we give our students, children a chance to just share what they feel, how they are feeling inside. It will give them a completely new space. This will be completely new thing for them. And teachers now, earlier for us, teachers were Google for us. Whatever, we had questions, they were the one, we looked up to them only for the answers. But as ma'am also said, it's just a click away. The information is so much available now that teachers have to become facilitators. So they will have to change the way they were teaching earlier. They will have to be friends with the students. They will have to adapt that, okay, yes, and also accept that, yes, information is available so easily and it can be right or wrong. So they can be one person who can, tell the children that, yes, this is right, this is not right, or maybe, let's explore more. So that classroom environment has to change so that the learning can happen. And even education, when we talk about education, people see education as a path to be, having a good careers or a successful life, but we have seen it's all myth. So there's no relation between how much you can earn and how much you are educated. It has no relation actually. And how much we enjoy living it as a whole. It has nothing to do with how educated I am. We have seen people misbehaving, who are highly, highly educated. And we have seen people who are so humble down to earth, who have no idea what a school is all about. So we have all kind of people, yeah. So I think, yes, what all ma'am said, I just want to add this to it, that this program can help in prevention of mental health issues. It can promote sustainable development goals in a school. We talk a lot around what UNICEF and United Nations says about SDGs, and many schools have adopted it. But social emotional learning has that power, to bring SDGs into place, and people can really work together on it. So that was my say.
Thank you.
I totally agree with Lataji when she says that one person who is not educated is so humble and down to earth, and a person with the highest quality can be very arrogant. So I totally agree, and therefore this curriculum or this program is required. And yes, it is going on around the world, but in India, awareness is very, very important. First, we need to create awareness regarding this. Then only we can go further with it.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much. I am not running out of questions, but I'm running out of time. Such a pleasure to speak with you, ma'am. So thank you so much for all the time. And I'm sure we will reach out to you with more questions, with more help to ask for. And
Yes.
thank you. Thank you once again for joining
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll be in touch. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Okay,
you so
sure.
much, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.